Greetings and salutations, everyone. It's time for another episode of Viewport Relay, a bi-weekly podcast where the Viewport team looks at the latest news in the gaming industry. As always, I'm your host, Albert Corson, joined by Tristan Jung.
Hello.
And Alex Nestor.
Hey!
So, we were gone, missing in action, as you might put it.
Yeah, we were quarantined due to the coronavirus, to be honest. It was a safety precaution we took for everyone's safety.
Mm-hmm. There was a pernicious case of no news as well. So
absolutely no news.
Like, the news was like, this game's getting an update. This game is not getting... Okay, that one didn't happen, but, you know...
Sony's not coming to GDC.
Nobody's coming to GDC.
GDC's not even coming to GDC.
GDC's not coming to GDC.
But guess what? It's 2 weeks later. There's news.
Ooh.
Alright, but we have stories, and we're going to talk about them. And then there's a game at the end.
Ooh.
We love games.
We love games, we love Viewport, we love Fortnite, we love a lot of things. We're going to go into this story on... We talked a couple months ago, I think it was at this point, about Insomniac Games finally going to Sony. Whatever they call it. They bought it. I don't know if there's a word for that.
Acquired?
Acquisition.
Well, I meant like a parent company is now Sony. I don't know what their
They're a
relationship
subsidiary
is.
of
Subsidiary.
Subsidiary.
All right. So they are a subsidiary of Sony. And that deal, we were like, whoo, Insomniac. Wow. $229 million.
Oof.
That's a lot of G's put down.
It's more money than I have.
Yeah,
is that more money than you guys have?
So? I hope you haven't been keeping that a secret from us? Question mark.
I was the second bidder for Insomniac Games, guys. Mm-hmm. I could only put
228.
228,
yeah.
And then I couldn't go the extra mil.
Yeah.
So here's the deal there. 230, maybe, I don't know if that's a drop in the bank for Sony, right? Oh, easy. Just write the check, right? Blank check it. But like, pros versus cons, does it pay off for publishers like this to have a heavy hitter like Insomniac now making games for you? Like, was this worth it? It's a lot of money, right? $230 million.
Oh, absolutely. So, going back to your previous point about it's a drop in the bucket, Sony's market cap is $80 billion. So more than Bloomberg. So it probably wasn't really...
But not by much, surprise.
Not by much. Can you imagine? Who will win? A Japanese company versus one business boy. I don't know what the meme is.
one business boy Japanese company, or 100 Japanese company business boys?
Sorry, what was I going to say? I think, if you look at some of the real strong first parties that Nintendo has or Microsoft has, Bungie, well, not anymore, I guess. 343? What's the Halo studio?
343.
Yeah, 343. Sakurai's studio. Like, I think the amount of long-term value that they have brought in for their respective companies are kind of on this scale. So I think this is a fair amount for them to dole out.
Mm-hmm.
So are we surprised at all that we saw, 2 years ago at E3, right? Microsoft was like, we've now acquired this studio, and you're a Microsoft studio, everyone's a Microsoft, right? We got one of those at their conference.
Yep.
Are we surprised that, like, we're not seeing big, successful studios get picked up left and right?
What would be, like, a studio that you have in mind? Is, like, Epic a studio that you would consider?
A big one, I thought, which is interesting now we know of what their, like, eventual goal is, but Platinum Games. Right?
Yeah,
not owned by
true.
anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Not a publisher, but not owned by anyone. And we saw with the last console generation how important, I would say, that Sony's exclusives essentially pushed them over the edge and destroyed the Xbox in terms of that console generation. And it was kind of almost the other way around with the Xbox 360. But why don't we see big acquisitions like this more often.
I mean, I think it's definitely a huge risk. Like Insomniac, I don't know if Naughty Dog is a first-party developer.
Yes, they are. I looked it up the other day. They are.
Yeah, so like, you know, people have track records, because even the big screw up. I'm looking at Jeff Blazinski right here.
Uh-huh. He's textbook.
Did you say
case.
Jeff Blazinski?
Cliff?
I heard Jeff Blazinski.
No,
I said
Cliff.
Jeff. I said...
No, did you?
He did. He did.
Maybe you're... Yeah, okay.
It took me a second to be like, is that like the Overwatch guy? I was like, that's Jeff Kaplan.
Jeff Kaplan.
Nah,
But
my brain had it right.
even you bring up a good point. Blizzard has screwed up recently too, right? So like
Still screwing up.
Still screwing up. These are like very big risks that they're taking, which kind of goes against what I just said about, this is totally a fine investment. But that's assuming everything goes all right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And so far for Insomniac, I think that seems to be the case, because they made the latest Spider-Man title, and that was extremely hot for Sony and them.
Yep. So, wait, Tristan, to clarify, are you saying essentially like it's good, but as you know, even studios with great track records can falter, so it's not really necessary or like worth the risk?
Thinking about it more, I think you need to hit a good middle ground, because once a studio gets too big, then you're like all up in the cost optimization. You're putting in microtransactions, all the nasty stuff. But if you look at Insomniac, Double Fine, Naughty Dog, all these like really high quality first party studios, they have none of that going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be said, right, it's an ownership thing too, right? Like they talk about in sports, like, oh, this player was great before, and then they went to this new team and they sucked, so this player sucks, right? Or like studios. But it could be, and I think Sony is definitely one of those companies where if a game needs more time with one of their golden boy studios like Naughty Dog, they will give it more time, right?
Yeah, I would say that's true for Sony. It seems like they really want to have quality titles for IPs that are very closely guarded under their kind of first party studio IPs. They want them to be as good as possible, it seems.
And Tristan brought up the Bungie breakup with Activision, right? That was a match gone wrong with those two.
I feel like, that entire story, I don't know if I've ever talked about it here, is just like way too complicated. Like they had a 10-year deal. You're supposed to pump out games, and then Activision got involved, and it was just like, just nasty furball type situation.
Nasty furballs. That's what we're ending on. Actually, no, I have one last thing. And it's a weird question. And it might not even have an answer, but does every studio have a price?
What does that even mean?
Like, Platinum Games at this point, right? I guess there may be a bad example because they just got invested by Tencent and things like that, but like, are there some studios out there, and I guess there's one that you'll probably name right now, but that doesn't matter how much money you give them, they're going to stay independent?
I don't know, I guess I wouldn't say that's completely the case. I would see it as, if they have a vision for a game, but they have no way to fund it, I think they would at least consider the option if a big publisher comes to them and says, hey, we will give you a money to be able to make this game.
A whole money?
Yeah, a whole money.
A whole dollar.
A whole money. No, and that was my example, was Valve. But that's because they don't have the problem ever of needing money. So
right, yeah, they have a side hustle that they can get their money from.
Which is now their main hustle.
Yeah, their main hustle for longest time now.
I feel like there are very few companies that are like in this in-between state of not being an indie studio, but not also having a monetization scheme. I mean, aside from selling their games, obviously.
Yeah.
No, definitely. It is that case.
I would say Platinum used to be one of those studios.
Yeah, and we know over the years they were very close to basically having to shut down based on failures of some of their titles to meet sales demands.
Alrighty. Anything else?
I thought we were going to buy Telltale. What happened to that?
Oh. We don't talk about that.
That was a joke in year one. I remember that.
How How many Telltales can Bloomberg buy?
Oh my god. Infinite.
They're back, aren't they? Doing something?
Are they back?
I thought I saw a story like a couple months back that they're actually reviving.
Relaunch under LCG Entertainment.
What does that stand for?
I have no idea.
All right, we're moving on. We're gonna hush hush here.
Uh-huh.
Final Fantasy VII Remake demo.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it hit, last night? Or yesterday morning, I guess.
Morning,
Can I go first?
Did you play it?
Tristan. What's your impressions?
I'll go first. It looks very pretty. I did not play it. There you go.
All right.
That's what I want to go first. Get that out of the way.
10 out of 10.
Yep, 10 out of 10. No, I definitely will agree on Tristan on that one. Playing through it, I thought it was an insanely pretty game. I think it's running at 30 FPS, but it actually was pretty smooth at that. And I'm not even running a pro, so that was another plus. And oh my god, the music, it's so good. Every single remix of the music, I loved it.
The only time it stuttered was when you were climbing down ladders, but I think that was a load sequence. I think they used that as a load sequence.
I think that was where they were trying to hide it. Yep.
May I ask what the demo covered in terms of gameplay?
Sure. The demo was basically the prologue where they're going into Midgar on a train, and then they go into the Mako reactor, and they're going to blow it up.
So essentially it was the E3 demo.
Got it.
Yep. So it ends with them getting out of the reactor.
How's the... I don't know if you have questions for this, Albert, but I'm like actually curious. How's the combat?
The combat... So you have to keep in mind this is basically the tutorial part of it, and that's what I kind of kept in mind, but it's pretty much just mash the button and you'll kill everything at this point.
Except the boss.
The boss did require some strategy, yeah. You had to basically... There's a stagger system that's in the game that's kind of like Final Fantasy 13's, but revamped a bit. You use spells and other ATB attacks to increase the stagger gauge, and once they're staggered, you do bonus damage. They can't move, maybe they have extra weaknesses, things like that.
It was kind of hectic when they throw you at the boss, because it was like super easy with all the other enemies. You could just mash and kill them. But with the boss, it was like you had to switch your character every time to use their ATB bars and like spam abilities and magic. And then at the same time, it felt like if you stayed on a character too long, the boss would just like constantly throw attacks at you and like hit stun you. So that was like forcing you to like switch back and forth. Cause I noticed, Alex, if you stayed on one character too long, the boss would eventually just destroy you over and over.
Yeah, basically. And then, yeah, there's just a lot going on during the boss fight. It felt a lot like maybe like an FF14 encounter in some ways, in terms of how much was going on at all times. Yeah. As it shoots missiles and does all these other machine gun attacks and other things. But I think it has potential as a combat system. It definitely feels a lot better than 15's combat system did. It's definitely not that spammy, or as spammy as Kingdom Hearts 3 looks.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 was spam all the time.
Yep. So it has a lot of potential, and Cloud and Barrett both played very differently, so that was pretty cool too. In terms of
Barrett right now is super boring.
Oh yeah,
you hold like square button,
boring, yeah,
and then you press triangle every 30 seconds. Or if you want to spam triangle,
you stand there and spam triangle until you get your charge shot back
up and down.
But I guess that kind of raises another thing: is the character dialogue banter that they do during battle is fantastic. I love how much they're talking to each other and what they're saying to each other. They're quipping and doing all this cheesy shit that Final Fantasy characters should do.
Is it repetitive? I think that was the one thing I was annoyed about in 15, where it was like cool the first 30 times.
Oh, in
the
terms
combat
of, like,
or the dialogue?
The dialogue.
Oh, the dialogue so far was basically not any repeats at all. It was like constant through the entirety, but of course it was the tutorial so they can, do movie magic and just make them say certain things at certain times.
It was like, you're going to unlock one of the gates and you walk away from Jesse and, what's the other dude's name?
Oh man.
Not Biggs. Why do I want to say Biggs?
It's Wedge.
Wedge. Yeah, you're
yeah.
walking away from Jesse and Wedge, and they just like have a side conversation, like while you're going to talk over to Barrett or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's super funny.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old days where you'd have to walk up to them and talk to them to get a dialogue box. It was basically just doing that free form. So it actually felt very natural as you're just walking around each scene. Other than that, yeah, very pretty game. I guess the exploration was not very good, but, you know, it's just a tutorial level, so you're kind of on rails during it, even in the original 7 game, so.
Dare I say the biggest compliment you could give this demo is, and this game in general right now, based on playing this demo, is it might live up to the hype.
Yeah, I definitely have hope for it now. It feels like it could actually do it. I think it'll excite people.
I've heard I read some stuff related to some reviewers and outlets who got access to more of the like game, and they said like some of the stuff has been revamped, like Aerith, she now just doesn't do magic. She can do like offensive magic too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was always kind of relegated to healer back in the day.
So she has offensive magic too. And I've heard there were some, it's been a long time since I've done the original, but like there were some differences, right? And people are saying they actually welcome some creative freedom. Let it spin its own tail a little bit, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things you should fix with the older games. Like, I was saying, like, if they ever remake a FF8 for whatever reason, they need to remake a lot of systems for that game, not just copy it over.
Well, not just system, but, like, story-wise a little bit.
Right, yeah, that's
some
too.
tweaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of, like, plot holes and stuff in the original 7 that hopefully they at least kind of fix, or maybe they'll implement, Advent Children and, Dirge of Cerberus, things like that into it as they feel.
Let it be Nomura's vision instead of Nomura's vision, if you know what I mean.
So, yeah. Nomura days past.
Yeah.
All right. You guys think the delay will be worth it? I think it will.
At this point, it doesn't matter. I think we talked about this a couple times.
It did.
It just went gold.
Yep,
so.
He announced it went gold basically the same time the demo came out, so.
Yeah. Except for the 50 gigabyte patch that's coming in, right?
How big is the game again?
100 gigs or something like that?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Hoo boy.
Oh.
Alright. Talking about more things, which these two games seem to always have news come out about them at the same time. Half-Life Alyx. Coming out in 20 days. Index is still sold out, so good luck getting one of those. Did you guys watch those videos, those gameplay videos?
I did.
I skimmed through a good portion of them, yeah.
So I don't have any questions. Just we're gonna talk about it. What do you think? Talk about those movement options.
I was actually a little turned off by the teleport one, to be honest. It reminded me of when I was playing, don't judge me, VR chat.
No, I definitely agree
judge
with you on
unless you
that.
tell us what you were doing in that game.
That's private matters. I can't go into that. But I think the free movement one and the shift one seemed okay. I think a lot, like my takeaway from the videos were that there's a lot of emphasis on the gunplay, which was phenomenal. So I'm not too worried about movement in general, but the teleport one, I was a little,
Yeah, I felt teleporting was a little bit disorienting at times during their gameplay segments, and it felt it kind of broke up the immersion factor, if we want to be kind of meta about it, but that's what I was taking away from the teleportation segment.
I like the options. So a lot of people say teleporting is or is like weird and disconnective, but the counter argument is, and you can't experience this on the screen when you're watching, but when you're in VR, the what is it called? The locomotive gameplay? I think it's called locomotive, right? That's where you move with the joystick and there's no teleporting. It causes motion sickness and nausea in a lot of people.
I see.
Yeah, so that's why there's options in this game.
Oh, no, I'm all for options, yeah.
Yeah. The slide one was interesting. I didn't understand the slide one that much. It looked like it was like you could only teleport to like cover-based things, or you can only teleport short distances or something like that. I couldn't tell. Or there was a little transition like thing. I guess that's maybe what it was.
Yeah, that would seem to be the difference, was a kind of transition-ish sequence rather than just instantly transmitting over.
What do you guys think about like the immersion? Dude, if I was in VR, I'd get spooked if I played that. That would have been like Resident Evil 7 all over again.
It looked very intense. I think my overall judgment was that compared to just, the Half-Life games, the normal ones, it seemed very like low enemy count, close quarters combat encounter style, right? Very intimate, if that's the right word, if I should use here.
I think so.
Just because like they wanted all these interactions with like the car doors, like reloading, toilet seats. So I can definitely agree with you in that it'll probably be a little bit spooky.
There's one thing I'm worried about, and I think it might be better on certain VR consoles than others, but throwing things in VR has always been tricky.
I've seen people struggle, yeah.
Like if you've ever played Super Hot, like throwing stuff is really awkward.
Yep.
And it looks like, one of the cool things in that game is you can pick up someone's grenade and throw it back or throw grenades at people. And it's like, a lot of times when you're throwing things in VR, it just like does not go the direction you want.
Right. Yeah. Or not with the force that you ended up trying to throw it with.
Exactly. So I hope that those kinks are worked out. Otherwise, grenades will just be like a whole dead mechanic sort of thing.
Well, I mean, the other part of it is that this works on a whole variety of different controllers. They said there's Oculus Quest support.
Are you going to get it then?
Yeah, I mean, I have it. It's on my desk right now. So
are you going to get this game?
Probably. I mean, my whole thing was like, if I need to buy a whole headset to play this game, then definitely not. But if it works on what I already have, Wait, it's $60?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it's $60, but they said this is a 16 to 20 hour game, so I mean, it's not like you're
I guess that's
for
true.
A little
and I get an alternate gun skin to embellish Alex's arsenal. So I mean, how could I resist?
And some one-on-one time with G-Man.
Yeah.
Get nice and close to him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Definitely the best looking VR game I've seen.
Is anyone else gonna get this?
I don't have a system capable of playing this right now.
Yeah, same. I don't have one. Tristan's
not gonna run on my PSVR.
I guess it's just me.
Tristan's the flag bearer. He's got it.
0 out of 10.
I would get an index maybe, but it sold out. So, what you gonna do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just not experience.
Just buy Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's true. I will be playing Animal Crossing around this time.
Yep.
All right.
You ready for the 4 out of 10?
Moving on, we're going to talk about the big N. So, Nintendo, this was a while ago, but they cut ties with a Portuguese publication as one of their reviewers had leaked Pokemon Sword and Shield information. And this brings us into, once again, the realm of leaks and NDAs and all of that stuff. But I think Nintendo is particularly notorious for their, quote, Nintendo ninjas, right?
Mm-hmm. They'll hunt you to the ends of the earth if you leak anything.
Yeah. But I just have a question about leaks in general and sort of Nintendo's public reception, is that the right word? To how they pursue leakers and if it casts a negative light on them at all.
On the leakers or Nintendo?
On Nintendo for going after these people.
Oh, I mean, like, if they signed an NDA, absolutely. Even when we got advanced copies, I never had to sign an NDA for us. So, I mean, I guess so. Like,
yeah. It was just kind of a handshake deal for us to not leak out info that was beyond what they basically described for us.
But I'm assuming... Wait, sorry, I was not fully listening. They did sign an NDA.
Yes, this one had an NDA.
Oh, of course then. Like, dude, like, no fault on Nintendo. It's totally the publisher, the publication's fault.
What about other leakers?
Like if we leaked?
Well, I mean, I don't know how they get their information, how the sources get information, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Their dad.
big example last year, there was a leaker on Twitter who successfully leaked 5 out of 5 press conferences in a row.
Yep.
An hour before they went up.
Right.
And then he was gonna it was Monday night, Tuesday morning was the Nintendo one.
Mm-hmm.
And he posted on Twitter that he got a call from a Nintendo lawyer on like a cell phone number that wasn't his, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he had a different cell phone. And they essentially said, if you leak, we will pursue legal action against you. And I was wondering if, like, you know, that guy didn't sign any NDAs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that cast a negative light on Nintendo at all for going after people for potential leaks?
Yeah, it's more of a gray area. I think a lot of ways, other companies, they'll generally try to spin a leak into like a positive news, or they'll say, hey, it just kind of happens, I guess, shrug. And then they move on. They're like, maybe. So yeah, I think a lot of other companies will roll with it, but yeah, Nintendo's always been pretty steadfast in their policy of just kind of basically going after anybody who does harm to their branding.
I think they always go after it in the light of, these are trade secrets, right? Mm-hmm. So if you leak trade secrets, we will pursue legal action. So that being said, do you think that other companies should, because I think, honestly, Nintendo is the most successful company at blocking leaks and any sort of information, right, from getting out.
Generally, yeah.
Do you think, first of all, is that a good strategy? And second, like, do you like hearing leaks, or are you just like, no, I want to figure out right when it happens? Or do you think that other companies should follow suit and like hire these ninjas to plug the leaks, per se?
From my perspective, as someone who works in the consumer space, leaks are actually like really stressful. Because whenever something leaks, then everyone's expecting, they're like speculating, they're like, oh, this has to be perfect. And if there's a delay, then you're in trouble. If it releases and it's not 100%, you're in trouble. Like, I feel like it's almost immature, to look for leaks and stuff at this point, just because if you kind of think about the people who are working on the other side on these things, it adds unnecessary stress that could be, like, you're going to figure it out at some point, right? Like, Nintendo's going to have their press conference in an hour or two anyways. So it feels a little unnecessary at that point.
Yeah, I guess you bring up a good point. If the leak is like maybe an alpha or beta build, or maybe just kind of a scrapped build at that point in development, and it ends up being way different from the project, but it makes it look really bad, then your project's going to have this stigma that it's this shitty thing they saw on the internet a couple months back, no matter what you do.
Yeah, and I think that's a stigma. Like, imagine if someone said, leaked, Sony PlayStation's coming out at, it'll be only $300, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, no confirmed anything from Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the PS5 is going to be more than $300, right? Well, you know, like 99% chance it's going to be above $300. If that thing got spread around a lot, then Sony could say, oh, it's only $400, which, you know, if you didn't know about 300, 400, it's like perfectly fine. But it's just created this public perception that's not true. That's hard for the company to reframe for their audience, essentially.
Yep. And, like, they have a marketing team, they have a comms team to actually, like, think about this stuff. And when some person just comes out and, like, screws it up all for you with, like, actual potential monetary damages, I think, you know, Nintendo does have a point in, like, pursuing further punishment.
Yeah. And that's not to say, I mean, there's been stories of previous leakers that have gone to malicious means, like hacking into corporate servers, or, you know, I think there was a story a couple years ago of a guy who was able to get a dev account on the Nintendo dev portal and was able to call into their dev portal support to essentially get an admin account, right? And then access things that he shouldn't. Right?
The mainframes.
Right, so he essentially, you know, what's it called?
He backtraced the IP address.
Yeah, he backdoor hacked him.
Yeah. Social engineering, that's what it's called.
Yeah, he social engineered the help center person to, essentially get access that he shouldn't have had. So that's obviously a more malicious means. So we're in agreement that maybe companies are fine with hiring some ninjas to track down some people. And as gamers, we're fine with that. We don't care.
Yeah, I mean, the game's gonna come out anyways. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Are we just old? Like, I'm saying all this stuff, and I feel like 12-year-old me would be very disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like as you get older, you don't like leaks. Maybe that's me. I don't know. As a kid, you're like, ooh, we love rumors.
I need the info right now.
Yep.
Also, leaks are weird because they make you wait longer almost, right? Mm-hmm. If something's not ready to be announced, right? If something's coming out in 2022 and we know about it now, but it was supposed to be announced in 2021, then now we got to wait a year longer.
Yeah, to hear any new news. Yeah.
And then sometimes, like, Star Fox Grand Prix, we never hear anything about it. I forgot about that. And now you're just sad.
Yeah, now I am just sad.
We're going to let that sink in for Tristan.
Yep.
But hey, maybe that's going to be the Platinum Games 4 title.
Maybe Platinum Games will be SMT5.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Oh. That's a leak.
That's a leak.
Mm-hmm. That's a Viewport Gaming leak right there.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Don't ban us.
Alrighty. We got some new stuff over the past month. We're going to talk about two of them. Alex alluded to one of them, but we're going to talk about Riot Games first. Tristan's favorite game company. They announced their shooter game, which was codenamed Project A, as Valorant. Am I pronouncing that right?
I have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce it.
That is now the official. That's it. That's the official pronunciation.
Yeah, you're welcome, Riot. Put it in the books. And from reading the description and going to their website and looking at videos, it's like a hybrid between CSGO and Overwatch, right? It's like a small, like 5v5-ish sort of thing with skills and abilities, which, kind of is like Rainbow Six Siege almost, right? Like operators are sort of like your heroes, but I think the abilities are going to be a little more flashy, but I'm not sure.
Can I say it looks like Combat Arms? Just from the art style, like, I don't know what's going on.
Until it gets nutshot, alright? It can't be Combat Arms.
Yeah, I was thinking either Combat Arms or Dirty Bomb was another one that came out a little while ago.
Yeah,
it just looks so cheap. Like, I don't know what it is.
The graphics are a little, I don't know, Play-Doh-y at this point.
It's a Riot game, guys. It's supposed to run on a potato, okay?
Yeah, I guess that's true. But, yeah, it's basically kind of this Overwatch CSGO hybrid. But you got, aiming down sights and stuff, and then there's some abilities. It doesn't seem like you'll have abilities as strong as Overwatch. It seems like they're trying to emphasize more a shooter aspect rather than Overwatch, which has gone in a lot more of a MOBA direction, I would say, during development.
Mm-hmm. It's like an arcade shooter. Overwatch is more of an arcade shooter almost.
Yeah, where this is a round-based shooter. Mm-hmm.
There's well, I don't know about China, because China probably has a bunch that I don't know about, but when you think about MOBAs, right, there's not a lot of MOBAs out there, right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, card games, I would say, are, a dime a dozen-ish. But
yeah, everyone's making their own card game now.
Mm-hmm. Artifact was starting it all off.
But the question I'm alluding to is, with shooters, right, it's a genre that's been around and popular for decades at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can Valorant carve a space with what it's attempting to in the FPS market?
I think with, if this is within the League of Legends lore space,
Wait, there's like guns and stuff in this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, who has guns? Graves has a gun.
Yeah.
Jhin has a gun.
It's the League extended universe. It doesn't need to have full coherency.
Yeah, I think if they can tie it in, there will be some fan base that will try it out. My concern is like there's some weird. This is hitting some weird. I keep stuttering. It's hitting some weird middle ground between CS:GO, which is supposed to be like a real, quote unquote, realistic shooter, right? Like really high skill ceiling, blah blah blah. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have Overwatch, which is like your 10-year-old nephew can play. And this is like a weird in between, and I don't know if people will be interested in that.
Yeah, at least not for the long term, because this is going to be a free-to-play title, so people are definitely going to be trying and playing it, but we'll see how much it gets carried, because I don't know how much, unless they do something really interesting with the gunplay, I don't see this title surviving for a really long time.
Alex brought up a really good point with Dirty Bomb, because that wasn't really like ability-based, but it kind of reminds me of that game.
Right. Yeah, I think that was a very apt comparison in terms of game for this genre. This is like the only thing I could come up with.
But I think though that they're it's the Riot Games thing, right? You build a low skill floor, right? So anyone can get in. And I think Overwatch, although it can be played by anyone, I feel like it's a game that at this point caters more to hardcore people. I feel like as you've stuck around it this long, you're more based out of the competitive stuff.
Oh, I'm waiting for Overwatch 2 to jump back in.
Well, are you? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like a shooter's a harder place to break out. And like you said, like it's Riot, they carry that fan base with them, right?
But I mean, you can only carry the fan base so much, right? Like, free-to-play games has this underlying necessity of somebody needs to sink like 10 hours a day, 10 hours a week, to get all the rewards and stuff. And
as Battle Pass.
And as Riot releases more games, like they're not going to expect players to sink 10 hours into each game. Unless you're
Tristan Jung.
Unless you're Tristan Jung.
Mm-hmm.
That was my last question, by the way, on this thing. The question was, will Tristan, our Riot Games resident expert, be trying this game out?
Honestly, I have gotten more jaded about shooting games.
What's the last shooter you played?
Siege.
Oh boy.
I think America's Army has influenced me for the worse. Like, I only want very realistic round-based shooters. I can't even play CS:GO anymore. And I'm like, Siege is in this middle ground of like, okay, sure, I'll play it, but not really like it type of deal.
I can understand that.
But can you play Tachanka?
I don't even play Tachanka. I play Frost. Frost only.
Oh, God.
My Canadian
waifu. We're getting out of here. Next game, Project GG.
Did Alex have any last thoughts? I feel like...
We don't care. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
go ahead, Alex.
Don't care. But, I don't know, I might at least try this one out. It looks simple enough, and I probably won't like it because of the abilities, honestly. I've just not been a huge ability fan. Overwatch kind of burned me out from it, so it'll be tough. I think I just like my arcadey war shooters instead, kind of like Battlefield and stuff.
If any shooter game that has a concept of stuns and CCs in it does not vibe with me.
Yeah, there's a reason why nobody likes stun grenades in Call of Duty or anything like that.
Yeah.
It makes it just less of an ability or a skill-based game and more of just you got hit by grenades, now you can't do anything.
Just sit there and watch.
Yeah.
Sit there and watch. All right. Remember those Platinum 4? I think we talked about it in our last episode. We learned about one of them called Project GG.
GG!
There's like, Ultraman from Japan, giant robots. It's about that. This is so Japan. This game is so Japan. And apparently it's the end of the, quote, superhero trilogy, which includes Beautiful Joe for the PS2 and The Wonderful 101. It's got Kamiya in it, so you'll only know about this if you're not already banned from him on Twitter. And according to him, it will take not more than 3 years to make, but not as soon as a year and a half.
All right.
So,
I like that projection.
It is a time window. I mean,
yeah.
fair enough.
Fairly accurate, actually. I don't know. Did you guys see the trailer?
I did.
It was very short.
Yeah, it doesn't give you a whole lot of info on what you're going to be doing, but I think you're going to be fighting giant monsters.
I think you're going to play as the Shiba Inu, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
I hope so.
Yeah. I'd be down for a dog superhero game.
So
I hate
over
to
under.
break your heart, but they did say it was...
The dog dies. Don't say that
based
to
on
me.
the giant robot.
Oh, no. Well, I'm not buying this.
Okay. What if you're the dog in the robot?
Oh, a little like Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
So do you think Bayonetta 3 is going to come out before this game?
Yeah, what's the time frame on that one?
We don't have a time frame on that one, Alex. So
I think everybody got banned who asked that question.
I don't know what to say about this game. This is such a platinum game to come out.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
And it's
Kamiya loves the superhero or games. It seems the Super Sentai specifically.
I hate to say it, but if Platinum wants to become their own publisher, they need to make games that will sell with a large audience. And although Kamiya said it's like Hero of Steel, Ultraman-esque, but it's not just for Japanese people, this game's only going to sell in Japan, probably.
Yeah, and ultimately, we know how Wonderful 101 did originally. It seems people want to give money for it now.
Not so wonderful 101.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be tough for him, I think. But, I mean, at this point, Platinum has so many projects going on simultaneously. It's kind of crazy.
Games do they have over there?
Maybe finish a game first, you know?
I honestly don't know how they're doing it. I don't think they have that many employees still.
Tristan, they literally made a game like 6 months ago. Alrighty. That's all we've got. Alrighty, guys. We're going to go into our game today. Today's game is called Notably Negative. And here's the rules, boys. I'm going to list a fairly negative blurb from a video game review.
Oh, no.
And you have to guess the game.
Oh,
okay.
I really hope Fallout 76 by Tristan Jung is in here.
No. So, these are only from games from 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And that's it.
Let's do it.
If you want, if you want, how about at the end, I will give you the score out of 10 that review was.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, I can give you the score that the game got as well. But are you ready? And this is gonna go just because I was lazy and didn't reorder them. From the highest rated game on this list to the lowest rated game. Right. So the last game is going to be some garbage game.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. First one. And I've censored out the name and I put just game in it. Okay.
Okay.
And the buzz-in word is viewport, as always.
As always.
Yeah.
As always. Alrighty. Like a pop-up book, game is creative and fun, but only paper thin.
Viewport.
And I have multiple things as well. Multiple quotes.
Is this highest to lowest, you said?
Highest to lowest.
Viewport.
Tristan.
Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door.
That did not come out in 2019, so no.
God, okay, sorry.
This is way hard because it's only 1 year.
Alright, so this came out last year. Alright, so here's the next one, which might make it easier. And do I let Tristan re-guess or not?
I screwed up. Let Alex go first.
Alright, this one's a lot longer and I'll probably give it away. The problem with a game like Game is that it seems to be stuck in a sort of time capsule. The hottest platformers from the last couple of years offer challenging gameplay, complex combat, rich lore, character progression, hidden areas, the list goes on and on. Game offers almost none of these. It's content to offer a very pared down experience, and that's far as fine as video games, as a video game is concerned, it just doesn't make an exciting experience.
No, man, it's gonna be a platformer of some kind.
I'll give you the score. 80.
Okay. An 80? That's
Average.
not too bad. Okay. But a bland platformer. The problem is I don't play platformers. What about My Friend Pedro? Is that a bland platformer?
No, that is not. Sorry, that is not the game. I will read the first quote because it might help. Like a pop-up book, game is creative and fun, but only paper thin. I'm going to let one more guess from each of you.
I guess I don't even know video games. I think
Me neither.
That's my learning at this point.
I only play one video game.
All right. Well, then the answer was Yoshi's Crafted World.
Ah.
I see.
Alrighty.
Who was that? Are you gonna reveal that?
I'm not going to reveal the names because some of these are pretty. All right. Next one. This one is a 75. And you'll probably get it, so be fast. Oh, sorry, let me read those two, by the way. The first one, the pop-up book, that was a 7 out of 10, and the next one, the hottest blah blah blah, 6 out of 10. Alright, this next one. Mostly, game is underwhelming. It's highly stylish and has some really good enemy design and gameplay options, but more could have been done with the pitch of, quote, anime vampire action RPG, end quote. This effort sadly falls short of its potential, and somehow makes a gore-soaked game about vampires a bit boring.
Viewport.
Tristan.
Bloodstained?
Incorrect.
Not Bloodstained.
I thought you'd get this immediately. Uh-oh. I should have pulled up
Vampire.
another
I thought it
one.
was Bloodstained.
What other vampire game has come out?
Yeah, anime, vampire. That's Bloodstained.
Are we giving up on this?
Yeah,
This
I'm
was a
giving
5 out
up.
of 10. This was
I'm
Code
giving
Vein.
Code
Oh.
Vein? Really?
That had
I did-
vampires?
I didn't know they were vampires.
Oh. Well,
Also, that was 2018. Wait, or...
that was at PAX last year, man.
Oh, it's
It was at
2019.
PAX.
Google lied to me.
I played that game. Demo.
Alrighty. By the way, I sourced all these reviews from OpenCritic, so I know that these are all 2019 games because I sorted by 2019 games. Alright. Next one. This one got a 73. Game feels... Oh, that review, by the way, was a 5 out of 10. That last one.
Wow.
But this one. Game feels a lot like opening a time capsule. It has so much in common with games from a decade ago that it might have been released back then. Fun moments are there to be found if you don't mind fighting a camera, frame rate, stutter, and sifting through menus and load screens as you fight wave after wave of hard-hitting health sponges.
Viewport.
Tristan.
Division 2.
No.
Oh man, that was gonna be my guess. Damn.
I'm going to read another review.
Yeah,
You keep forgetting about that, Tristan.
Go ahead, do the second one.
Alright. The thing I kept saying to myself while playing game is that if it wasn't a game with such beloved characters and familiar storylines, it would be a bad game. A great coat of paint does a lot for the average of a game, but its roots are a rote beat 'em up that shows off its tricks in the first couple of hours and wears out its welcome well before the credits roll. Oh, this is a disaster of a game.
Yeah, I'm going with River City Ransom Girls.
No.
That's all I got for beat 'em
another
up.
guess? I will highlight the words that might help beat 'em up.
Yeah, that's
Beloved
DMCV?
characters.
DMCV is 2018 though.
Beloved
isn't it?
characters.
Super
Frame
Smash.
rate
No,
stuttering.
not Super Smash. What's kind of
Alright.
like Super Smash?
It was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 The Black Order. Are you gonna say anything?
No,
I'm just sad at this point.
Oh no.
it's
This is only
okay.
gonna
You
get-
said there's
this is-
10, right? Wait, you said this
Yeah,
is gonna get
there's-
harder and harder?
There's 13 of them.
Oh god.
Alright, chances are we're going to be able to guess one of these, Tristan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's whoever gets first to one at this point.
Yeah, first
Okay.
to 1 point.
Alright, next one. This game got a 70. Both those reviews, by the way, were 6 out of 10. I'm just going to say the review score at the front, because I don't want to forget. This one's a 5 out of 10. The wasteland is varied enough, and yet it somehow manages to feel the same no matter where I am on the map. Game exists, is playable, and it will keep you busy for a while. Fyodor Dostoevsky's The Idiot also exists. It is readable and will keep you busy for a while. Do I recommend either of them? No.
It's not Viewport. It's not
Alright,
Fallout.
Next review.
It's not.
Okay, keep going.
Game tries to do so many things in such a small time frame that it forgets to do anything original or inventive with its many unfocused components. Its combat alleviates these issues in short spurts, but it's not enough to weave a cohesive thread through its confused trip through a familiar wasteland.
Viewport?
Alex?
Metro whatever.
Exodus.
Incorrect.
Oh man.
That game got a lot better than a 70, by the way.
Had Steve Blum in it.
Oh, no. Tristan, please.
Outer Worlds?
That was
a really good game. It got more than 70.
a really good game.
Shit.
What games last year had a Wasteland?
Outer Worlds.
Oh, no.
Did we get punked? Is it actually Fallout 76?
It's not. All right.
Wasteland.
Get one guess.
No, it's
Go.
not No Man's Sky.
That was 2016.
Depends how you count it. Potato, right?
All right.
Division 2?
No, that game came out more than last year. Or Division 2, that was last year. It was Rage 2.
Rage 2?
I forgot all about that game.
That was last year.
Yeah,
That was last year.
Oh, man.
I have low hopes for these next couple. This one, maybe. No,
Do
this
we even
one.
know
This one
these
has-
games?
This one has potential.
Okay.
Next one has potential. All right. It got a 69 overall.
Nice.
Both these reviews are 6 out of 10s. Game is the monkey paw wish of video games. It is exactly what fans have wanted, to the point where it feels like it belongs in a different era.
Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD.
You didn't even ring in,
Viewport.
but no. Tristan died when I said that. Alright, next one. Game is the Benjamin Button of video games, except it won't get any younger as time goes by. Offers some interesting quirk, but overall it was released 20 years too late.
Do I still need to ring in? Viewport? Ukulele,
Oh no.
whatever the side scroller was.
Oh no.
Are we
No.
retarded? Like, what's going on?
It might be.
Did I play a single video game from 2019?
I don't think either of you played this game, but you definitely know of it.
A game that I can't think of. Like, it has to be a platformer.
Is
right?
it a remake?
It's a sequel. Here's a hint. It's the third game of its series.
Kingdom Hearts 3?
No!
Oh.
Alright. The game was Shenmue 3.
Oh. They
Alright.
just don't know what a masterpiece looks like.
If you didn't get this one, it actually might be whoever gets the first one.
It might
first
be.
to one.
This is
Alright.
redemption.
So this game got a 67 overall. The first one's a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Okay.
Clunky controls, terrible on-screen litter, and the slow pace just kill any semblance of enjoyment for me. Even the nonsensical plot and voice acting don't make me want to play this again. Alright, keep going. 5 out of 10. There's a certain, quote, so bad it's good, end quote, charm to game. But unless that's explicitly what you're set out to find, there's not much for you here.
Viewport? Death Stranding?
That got more than a 67.
Alex wishes it didn't.
You know?
Alright, last one.
Wait, can you give us like a genre on top of it? After you
I
say the
don't know
last
what-
one. After you say the last
I
one.
actually don't know what genre this one is.
Oh man.
But I know Alex knows this game, and
It's
you
a
know this
Stranding
too.
game.
Mm-hmm.
4 out of 10. It might seem amusingly camp watching it on YouTube, but playing this outdated and clumsy action game is nowhere near as entertaining as it looks.
Deadly Premonition?
No. Here's the ultimate hint. Or do I even let Tristan get the point if I give the ultimate hint?
Just give it.
Just do
It was revealed at the Devolver press conference.
Oh. Metal Wolf Chaos.
Yes.
We did
Alright.
it!
Do you get
I
the
did.
point or not?
We guessed one. We did it.
Okay.
It only took
Alex,
like
1 point. This is
it only
disaster
took like
game,
3
guys.
hints.
It's too
Oh,
hard.
No.
It was way
It's
too
too hard.
open.
I'm not done yet. We're keep going.
We're not
We're
running
still
this up
going.
to max.
no.
We're still going.
I want off this
We're
wild
still
ride.
going. I'm just
Alright.
going to skip this one up here because you're definitely not going to get this one. Or should I read it? I'll just read it out just because
Just go
I spent
for it.
time. It was We Happy Few,
Yeah.
and the first one is a joyless and confused mix of Bioshock, Fallout, and Rust, which wastes its intriguing setting on repetitive action and tedious survival mechanics.
We
And
could
then
have
the next
gotten
one-
that.
And then the next one was, We Happy Few is a case of quantity over quality, a by-the-numbers venture whose game world seems to have been populated by a script rather than being handcrafted. Despite moments of what could have been described as brilliance, We Happy Few is a game full of fetch quests, boring busy work, and some of the most baffling design decisions in the history of video games. Oh, and it's broken as shit too. Happy? Not really, no.
Man, they got some sass on the end of that one.
This one might... There's some hints in here. You're gonna get it by the third one, so you better be fast.
Okay.
This one's guaranteed, alright? First review. 4 out of 10. Oh, this game got a 63 overall. Game is boring, lifeless, and generic. How this game survived and Scalebound didn't is a mystery to me. Alright. Next one. 5 out of 10.
Wait. Viewport.
Tristan.
I don't know if it came out last year. Astral Chain?
No.
Okay.
That game also did better than a 63. By the way, 63 I had to go about 16 pages into OpenCritic, so not very many games get below a 70. 5 out of 10, this review. Game has finally arrived, and instead of being a great next-gen iteration of the franchise, it feels like a lost relic of the Xbox 360 era. I don't know if you guys even played games last year. Alright, next one. 6 out of 10. Get ready to view in as fast as you can. Game is a mindless collectathon that may tickle the right spot for fans of the franchise or those seeking a game stripped of everything but side missions. Those seeking a Terry Crews simulator like I was will be sorely disappointed.
Viewport.
Tristan, I guess?
Yeah, go for it.
I cut in. Crackdown 3.
There you go.
We did it. 1-1.
did it.
Let's do
Did you guys get the first review? You know, Scalebound was another Xbox game.
I guess so?
That clued me off to Platinum Games. I was like, did they make a bad game last year?
That's why I said Astral Chain. Or Chain. Astral Jane?
Astral Jane. I like that game. I'm thinking around just skipping around, but this one you might get. 61 overall. The review, there's no score. It was hated. And the first review is, what frustrates me the most about game is that the things that work in the game's favor are really well implemented. It feels like a complete waste to have these awesome traversal and combat mechanics utilized in such an uninspired game. The next review, 4 out of 10. It would be easy to write off the bewildering state that game is as the result of video game design by committee. By the way, is this a shooter game?
Sounds like a very familiar quote.
5 out of 10. Game is yet another half-baked looter shooter. However, it's just at the beginning of its life cycle, and its future success is only up to the developers.
Viewport.
Tristan.
Borderlands 3.
Incorrect.
Viewport. Division 2.
Incorrect.
Oh my god.
I don't know how you guys forgot about this one.
Destiny 2.
You guys
expansion.
literally put... cut this out. You guys literally put 3 news articles about this. It was Anthem.
Oh.
Anthem was... Oh.
I thought that was 2018 and they just forgot about it.
Man, what happened last
You
year?
guys literally posted news articles about it.
A fever dream, I guess.
Alright. This one is...
we're going into... Albert's falling apart.
We're going into 3 funny ones, alright? Those are going to be our last ones, alright?
Look, ask me what time you can catch the high perch at.
Alright, we're going into 3 funny ones. And I'm probably going to skip the last one because you're not even going to know, and it was there for a tiebreaker. This one had a 62 overall. 4 out of 10 review. I don't see the point in game. If you want to play pinball, download Pinball FX3 for free, and you're all sorted. Maybe buy a table or 2 that take up your fancy to expand your options. If you want to see some anime titties, open up your browser and do a Google search. I mean, game isn't awful, but I don't see any reason why you need to spend money on it.
Was there an anime pinball game?
Oh, God.
I don't know what it's called. Is it like a Honey Pop 2?
That game got delayed.
Alright.
The game was, or we're going to cut this out. The game was Senran Kagura Peach Ball.
Oh.
That was Tristan's response, was just motorcycle driving by. Alright. I'm not even going to do the other ones.
Man, video games are hard.
That was the worst game ever.
Yeah, that was...
that was...
I've never felt so powerless before.
I try to help.
That wraps it up for episode 44. Tristan, take it away.
Viewport Relay is a part of Viewport Gaming, a website that provides a look into video games through reviews, features, and podcasts. You can find all Viewport content at viewportgaming.com.
Tristan, where can you see our podcast?
iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play,
Google
Podbean,
Music.
Google Music,
Radio Public.
Overcast, Radio Public, and all your favorite podcast directories.
Thanks, Tristan. I'm Albert. That's Tristan.
See ya!
And I'm joined by Alex.
See you next time.